Michael Chandler has recently propelled himself to the top of everyone's must-watch fighter list, as he has given out extremely fan-friendly performances since joining the UFC. He has famously said that he's here for a good time and not a long one.
I want to get inside the cage. I want to prove to everybody in this lightweight division, everybody in the world, the UFC brass, that when I step inside that octagon, I'm coming and I want to win the world title.
But for those who might not know about Chandler, he's been in MMA for a long time now, as he looks to continue growing his fan base in the biggest MMA organization in the world. We're going to take a look at some of Iron Mike's lifestyle and net worth facts. Number 10. Michael Chandler's early life. Chandler was born on April 24, 1986 in High Ridge, Missouri, which makes him 36 years old, which is quite old for lightweight standards. So when he says he's here only for a short and exciting time, that's because he knows that father time is catching up to him soon. His father, Michael Sr., and his mother, Betty, had 4 kids, Michael being the second. Chandler has both Irish and German heritage from his parents, and by all accounts, he seemed like the ideal son during his high school years, as he was on the honor roll in every term of his high school, while also receiving 3 letters in football and came in second in state championships in wrestling. He was voted the most valuable wrestler during his senior season and was selected to the All-St. Louis team. Chandler also happens to be one of the best wrestlers in MMA right now, who has the IQ to understand how to promote and sell himself to the fans. So it seems like the brains and brawn combo started early for Chandler. Number 9. Wrestling career. After high school, Chandler attended the University of Missouri, where despite not receiving a wrestling scholarship, he tried out for the Missouri wrestling squad and made the team. This would be a life-changing moment for Chandler. Chandler would qualify for the NCAA Division I tournament 4 times and win over 100 wrestling matches, while earning himself a spot on the D1 All-American honors. He also participated in the Big 12 championships on 2 different occasions, and he did all of this while earning himself a degree in personal finance management with a minor in real estate. As we said, Chandler's one of the smart ones to transition into MMA after college. Number 8. How he started MMA. Wrestling is often regarded as the best base that you can have for MMA, so it is natural for collegiate-level wrestlers who still have the desire to compete and test themselves to transition into MMA. This has been true for many wrestlers in the past and also true for Michael Chandler, as he immediately started training in MMA after graduating from college. Chandler started his training in the famed Extreme Couture gym, which was famously started by MMA legend Randy Couture. Chandler was so confident in his abilities, he opted out of competing in the amateur scene and made his professional debut in 2009, winning via first-round TKO. So it's pretty safe to say he made the right decision. Number 7. Career achievements. Chandler hasn't had your typical Hall of Fame career, as for the most part he competed in organizations outside of the UFC. So for several years, fans always wondered how good Chandler was, because he wasn't fighting the best lightweights in the world. But despite that, Chandler has amassed a Hall of Fame career. He has a record of 23-7 with 18 finishes, the majority of which came in Bellator, where he was a 3-time Bellator lightweight champ. He holds the record for most submission victories in the Bellator lightweight division, most stoppage wins, and overall wins in the lightweight division. While tied for most fights in Bellator history, most stoppage wins in Bellator history, most title bouts in Bellator history, and most wins in Bellator history. He is in the argument of the greatest Bellator fighter of all time. And since moving to the UFC, he has picked up 3 bonuses, including a Fight of the Year winner against Justin Gaethje and a KO of the Year candidate against Tony Ferguson. He even fought for the UFC title, despite only being in the organization for 2 years. Number 6. Various sponsorships. Michael Chandler has a clean-cut image and puts on incredibly entertaining fights while handing out inspirational messages, so it is easy to see why so many companies wish to work with him. His list of sponsors includes energy drink company Monster Energy, which you can see Chandler showing off before and after each fight. He has also been sponsored by American Ethanol and health and diet companies like Sanford Health, Arsenal Strength, Pure Clean Sports, and Mega Fit Meals. While Groove Life and So Right also help sponsor Chandler's training camps and lifestyle. Some of his recent sponsors include Raw Gear, Cram Nutrition, Walk On Fitness, and Speedy. Number 5. Fight pays. During his Bellator career, Chandler made somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 per fight. But from some other Bellator contracts, we know that they pay plenty of locker room bonuses. Plus, they give other incentives like cars and commentator gigs, so Chandler must have done pretty well for himself as he kept on re-signing with Bellator despite the UFC wanting him years ago. Not to mention the ability for Chandler to have more sponsors in Bellator. Well, since then, Chandler made nearly $250,000 for his Dan Hooker fight and an additional $50,000 bonus. Another $250,000 for his title loss to Charles Oliveira, and $350,000 for his fight of the year against Justin Gaethje, and another $50,000 bonus. His last fight against Tony Ferguson netted him $500,000 and a $70,000 bonus. Number 4. Social media presence. Chandler's inspirational messages and a ton of workout footage have made him one of the most followed MMA fighters in the game. On Instagram, Chandler has over 1.4 million followers. On the app, Chandler shares behind-the-scenes looks into his training camps. He challenges his followers to killer workouts and shares pictures of his adorable family. While on Twitter, Chandler has nearly 270,000 followers. There, he's vocal on the current MMA scene, giving his 2 cents on fights and even calling a few potential opponents out, as he always has his promoter hat on. Number 3. His relationships. A big reason why Michael Chandler is beloved by many is his relationship with his wife and son. He married Bree Willett in 2014. Their relationship oddly started over email, but Chandler must have been smooth to be able to sweet-talk Bree over Hotmail. Now, since marrying, Chandler and his wife elected to go the adoption route instead of having kids of their own. They adopted their first son, Hap, in 2017, and their second son, Ace, in 2022. This sweet gesture shows Chandler and his wife's big and charitable hearts. Number 2. Work ethic. Success rarely comes to those who don't work hard, so it's not surprising that Chandler is one of the hardest working fighters in the game. All you have to do is look at one of his Instagram videos to see how hard Chandler works. His workouts are incredibly grueling and can leave the viewer tired. On top of that, since joining the UFC, Chandler is about his business, fighting nearly 4 times in 12 months. This also doesn't include him cutting weight as a backup fighter for the UFC 254 event. On top of all of that, Chandler has cut some of the best promos in MMA recently, and he has upped his marketing and self-promotion. He has reaped the benefits of this by getting several high-profile matchups. Now he's set to fight Dustin Poirier, and a win there could have Chandler competing for a UFC title or getting the Conor McGregor sweepstakes. Number 1. His net worth. As mentioned before, his Bellator salary is a bit under wraps, so we don't know exactly what he earned during a large chunk of his career, but that time also happens to be his most lucrative sponsorship years, as Bellator fighters are allowed to wear sponsored shorts. Since moving to the UFC, Chandler has seen large fight day checks, but might have taken a hit on the sponsor money. So taking all of those things into account, we would assume that his net worth is somewhere between $1 and $3 million, as Chandler is one of the more popular and hard-working MMA fighters. This also includes his work as a commentator and UFC analyst. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell beside it so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. With that being said, you just watched the lifestyle and net worth of Iron Michael Chandler. We'll see you next time.